Okay, let's start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nights at the Round Table, and I have my friend TJ here to review The Lost Highway by David
Hello,
Lynch.
everyone.
So, what do you like about the movie, TJ?
What do I like about the movie? I'm a fan of David Lynch. I love his movies. In the case of Lost Highway, I love how engaging it is. I like the energy it holds. Cinematography is pretty. What else? Yeah. That is. It's just a very. I just find it a very I find it a very good, consistent flick. If that makes any sense.
Okay. It's a good movie, but I find it quite bizarre because it's the dialogue. The actors show like the emotion ranges from nothing to over the top. Get me?
Yeah, but that's intentional. I could see how that, and of course that could be off-putting, which is understandable. But I think that works in the movie. It's intentionally surreal.
Yeah, and whenever I hear the detectives talk, it's like they're in a cartoon or something. It's nothing but potty humor out of them.
Yeah, which makes sense considering Flick.
Okay, yeah. Next question. What do you not like about it?
I don't. Although I enjoyed it, first of all, and within I just have to put it in this sphere of Lynch, if that makes any sense. In the sphere of the director's work, it's not my favorite Lynch film. I think there's a number of films, notably like Blue Vibe and Mulholland Drive, which are better on its own merits. Though I think during the Pete section, there's some it dragged a little bit for me, especially, and the story, although well told, is just not.
Yeah.
It's just not as engaging. You?
Well, let's see. I can't really think of anything for like the con section what I don't like.
Yeah. You mentioned a few things
But
beforehand.
I just find it a little weird how the actors talk.
Yeah.
Like some are emotionless and some are over emotional.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think the overall environment of the movie is eerie?
Yes, it does. Especially in the first half. Like the film does feel eerie and a bit off-putting. Did you find it frightening, or no?
Not really. I find it more eerie than frightening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Makes sense. I'm just gonna ask you a question. What specific aspects did you find eerie beyond the mood?
Well, for one, the mystery man. Two, Fred. He's a weird character.
Yeah.
And three, when this is gonna be a spoiler.
Spoilers of room.
When the younger version of Fred, Pete, he goes to the house with Renee in it. He finds her with Andy. And I find it a little eerie when he kills himself, Andy.
Yeah. Well, that's not really suicide. It was more just an accident on his behalf.
Yeah, but still, it's a little eerie to watch.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is effective. I think it was, to me, a lot of what made that feel the way it did was just all the things felt off. Like as you mentioned, the pale man.
Off-putting.
Yeah. Like there's a number of scenes. Like as you mentioned, the acting's off. That's the reoccurring element in that regard. But beyond that, it's more just individual things which would be boring to explain. Do you want to talk about the story?
Yeah, why don't we dive more into the plot?
Yeah, I mean, there really really isn't a story to it. It's mostly not in
Not really a
traditional
story.
sense.
More of a fantasy thing.
Yeah. All right. So spoilers ahead. Okay, what do you think happened in that film?
Here's what I think. I think the Mystery Man might just be like a figment of Fred's imagination. Because he's aware that his wife is cheating on him with all these random men, so the Mystery Man is encouraging Fred to murder all of them. Also, Fred shows signs of mental illness, so maybe it was just him who was filmed breaking in to his house.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think first of all, I think the whole movie is in his Fred's memory. There's even a scene in the first half of the movie where when he's confronted with detectives, he mentions how he likes to remember things his own way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for all the viewers watching, low context, if you haven't seen the film, which please do before you continue watching. The film is split into two parts. One follows Fred, a jazz musician, and he's being stalked by somebody we don't know.
We know he's being stalked by detectives.
Well, beyond the detectives, I'm talking about the film and like the film. And the second part follows Pete as he dates a mobster's wife, essentially, or lover. We don't know exactly Alice's position, relationship to Eddie. Anyways, I think the whole thing is from his memory, which explains a lot of things. I agree that the Pale Man is imaginary. I originally thought that he was a symbol of retribution, but now I'm thinking it's more a repressed aspect of Fred that he's just anthropomorphized into this person. As you mentioned, he helps him murder all these men and his wife. Speaking of, I think the first part is more akin to reality. There's definitely a lot of... And the second part is, I don't think it's his childhood. I think it's just a fantasy of his.
Yeah, me too.
Make himself innocent in his mind. And also just give himself a better life. Like dreaming up his dream girl in the form of Alice, and just a number of things. Speaking of, I don't think Alice is real. I think both Pete is the opposite of the fantasy version of Fred, and I think Alice is the fantasy version of Lorraine, who is Fred's wife in the first part.
Who do you think Sheila is?
Sheila. I think Sheila is another aspect of Lorraine. Like, I recall this, like, she had black, like, she's brunette, of course, but she also has Lorraine's nail polish. The black nail. That's one of the things that was pointed out by the analysis I looked into. Anyways, in the former Pete, there's a number of times when Really's cutting in. Like, there's one time he hears his jazz. Like, he's playing earlier over the radio, shuts that off. Yeah. But I think at the end, when he's coming to the cabin, the burning cabin, where the Mystery Man lives.
Yeah.
He goes. That's him. That's his mind breaking the fantasy, and which basically just sets him up at square one, i.e. him with Lorraine. And that's basically my interpretation of all the stuff that happened in the film.
Here's what I think about Pete. Pete is dissatisfied with his relationship with Sheila, so he moves on to Alice. And Sheila is just a background character used to show that he's having an affair with someone else. Oh yeah, and another question. Remember when Pete walks towards a glaring light and his parents are like, "No, don't."
Oh, you mean like the flashing light?
What do you think the light represents?
Like, there's a lot of red and blue, which I think this is all from Peter's never fake to my interpretation. I think this is all just from Peter's perspective as he's bolting down the road away from the police. Actually, David Lynch said he was inspired by the O.J. Simpson trials, that's definitely a recognition of. So I think both the Flash, the incorporation of red and blue is part of that. But as for that scene, I think it's his brain, or at least him remembering himself in this new fantasy, I think he's remembering his brain telling him not to do this, if that makes any sense. This is a subconscious telling him not to murder Lorraine and everyone. Yeah. Even, it's repressed memory. There's a number of... What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I do know that he has headaches from mental illness, so could be causing him to hesitate.
Yeah.
Like in certain parts of the movie, he hesitates to act.
Hesitate to act. Can you please elaborate? Give me an example of this.
Like he tries to come up with an idea, when he's in trouble. He's like, should I kill these people or not?
That's hesitation, but I don't think that's much of a failure to act. When he hears Alice's plan, which he doesn't what's the word? He doesn't exactly hesitate all that much. No more than you would expect to if you're asked to murder a person. In fact, a bit less. But
all right. Let me rephrase it. He doesn't really hesitate, but he kind of worries a lot.
Yeah,
whenever he's going to sleep, he has nightmares, and whenever he's talking to the detectives, he seems a little worried.
Yeah, I don't think that's much a failure to act, as in the case of the detective being afraid that he's going to get caught, and in the case of you mentioned, and also just fear of fear of what's under his subconscious, and the fear of just reliving the memory of killing his wife.
He's trying to avoid the memory, though.
Yes, exactly. That's why he's hesitating.
Oh, okay.
That's
what else can we talk about?
What do you I found some aspects of the film to be very humorous, and you seem to disagree.
Well, they're just weird to me.
So you didn't find them that funny?
It just shows me that they're incompetent.
There's the cops. Well, there's the cops and do jokes.
When the detectives make toilet jokes, it just shows me that they're incompetent at their jobs.
Yeah, which makes sense if this is all from Fred's memory. This is just him thinking the cops are incompetent. But no, that's mostly that's later on. I'm talking there's a time when they entered his house and they were incompetently asking if this was his only bedroom. Yeah, there's also a time when there was the scene where Eddie beat up a guy for tailgating.
Why would there be another bedroom in the house?
I think that's a joke.
Exactly, they're dumb.
I know.
Dumb for asking.
That's not good. Anyway, yes, there's also what's your thought on all the imagery of the doppelganger imagery? Fred looks at himself, we mentioned how Fred and Lorraine and how they were reflections of
He and Alice.
Yeah. But still, there's a number of times that it shows up. Fred looks at himself in a mirror.
Again, I think it's all in Fred's head.
Yeah, but what do you think? What do you think that? why do you think all that's there? Like from filmmaking perspective, like
It's like it's fantasy of him being with a girl that can never be real.
well, that's the reason of the story. But why do you think all those things were included in the film?
Well, it's a movie about a couple of people cheating on each other.
I I know, but what was with all the? Why do you think the David Lynch had all of those mirror imagery and talking about doppelgangers? Like there's the guards in the prison who mentioned two wife killers. There's an Fred goes into a black hall and black space and sees a reflection of himself. I think. What's your thoughts on all that?
I think David Lynch intends for it to be for the film to be surreal. He wants like these events to look more fake.
Yeah, but why that specific decision?
He's exaggerating the effects of them.
But again, why that specific decision? Why do you think? Well, both all the doppelganger imagery and the use of phones, but
Don't use the phones. I think the phone part was to show that Fred is like sick in the head. He's going crazy.
like, do you think it's his subconscious trying to communicate, tell him that something's wrong?
It's his like imagination. He's imagining the Pale Man at his house already, and he's telling Fred that he'll always be there.
He doesn't really tell me he'll always be there, but I get your point. But still, it has to have. But it still has some. I'm assuming it has some symbolic function. I think, to me, I think it's his brain trying. Again, it's just say what I think. I think the doppelganger imagery is just to point out the falsehood of Fred's fantasy, and all the phones are just various ways of his memory trying to work, the conscious trying to reach out and just communicate with him and tell him what actually happened. Same thing with video cameras.
Okay.
All right.
I have another question related to the phones.
Go on.
Why do you think the mystery man was with Mr. Eddie? Why was he on the phone with Mr. Eddie?
I think that's just part of the dream logic. I don't think like in the fantasy that's just Eddie, that the mystery man trying to help Eddie in a weird way.
Why would he be helping Eddie though?
I think the mystery man is a dark part of his mind, which I repeating myself, but basically I think he seems to be to help Eddie with things he does not like to do. Like it's like it's inferred that he seems to have helped he killed Lorraine. He later on helps Fred. He helps Fred kill Dick, and also and as or Laurence. It is implied that he helped, again in the fantasy, he helped Fred kill Lorraine. This is also reflected in the scene where where his parents seem to imply that he has done something horrible to Sheila, again, which I think that's one of the many times.
Like cheating on her?
Not by cheating on her. I mean, like the time when, he can see Alice, and his parents just seem to be horrified by something he's done that he can't remember, I think that's one of the many instances where he is starting to realize what actually happened.
The parents show no emotion at all.
Yeah, I think that would,
which kind of bothers me.
like, from a filmmaking standpoint, or that disturbs you?
Um,
How's this bother you?
Filmmaking standpoint.
Yeah. Well, I think that, but like, how does that bother you from a filmmaking standpoint?
Because they're barely even acting.
Yeah.
They're just like,
hey, you're totally not going to lie.
That is, like, I think that is intentional though. Like, that's clearly intentional. It's to show it's to give them an off impression. That it's to infer that they're fake.
but what do you mean by fake? Like they're not really his parents?
Exactly. I think they're just figments of his friend's imagination.
Oh, okay. If it was like a figment of his imagination, it would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, or do you think that's his actual parents?
I'm leaning more towards figment of imagination idea.
Yeah.
But like, if they were actually his parents, it would sound a little weird.
Yeah. There's a lot of times when he looks up into the light. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I feel like he's pretending he's going to a happy place when he looks at the light.
I always thought that was just his fear of judgment.
The light represents happiness.
Yeah.
He's trying to avoid stress.
That could be, but I personally I think that's his fear of judgment. Like, it's almost as if he's looking up at God. God's just judging him. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Finding his happy places and never good. What's interpretation? That makes a lot of sense.
So, what are your thoughts on Renee?
Renee?
The wife?
Renee? I thought she, from what she did, I thought, on an acting standpoint, I thought she did all right. Like, this is, again, it's off, but that's intentional.
Oh yeah, another spoiler. According to the Mystery Man, Renee is Alice.
Yeah.
If they're the same person. What do you think of them?
I think Alice is the parts he likes about Renee, and also also she fills a similar role to Renee, being his lover. Yeah. What's your thoughts on her? Why do you bring her up?
I do think she's the same person as Renee, Fred's wife. She's everything that Fred likes about her.
Yeah.
So towards the end, they make love in the desert. And this is the younger version of Fred talking. He keeps repeating, "I want you, I want you, I want you." But then she finally says, "You can never have me."
Yeah.
It's because she's part of his fantasy.
Yeah. And also she's dead. Like Renee at least. That was a reoccurring. Speaking of, sex is a reoccurring theme throughout the film, which this is a big part of how, and the analysis I looked at plays a big part in my interpretation. But I think part of the reason why is, how to put this into words, the failure to Fred is highly inclined to have anxieties about his love life.
Yeah.
Like the first sex scene we see with him, he has it doesn't go so hot. And in his fantasy version, he gets, well, he is way more successful in that regard, for lack of a better term. Also, him cheating on Sheila might be just his sort of revenge for Sheila cheating on him.
But how do you know Sheila cheated on him?
No, like, again, Sheila is another aspect of Lorraine, in my opinion.
Okay.
Which, yeah, who is highly implied to have slept with both Eddie and Laurence. Not Andy and Laurence, sorry about that.
I don't know. Looks like she's just like a background character.
I think she plays too much of a role in his. Like, she doesn't play a huge role, but I think she plays too big of a role to just be written off like that.
From the looks of it, she's in an on and off relationship with Pete.
Mm-hmm.
But when he like gets out of the prison, she's like,
"It's been a while. Do you still care about me?"
I think that's because he's in prison.
I know, but it looks like they were in an on and off relationship.
Maybe.
The relationship isn't that serious.
I did not really see that. Although, yeah, I think it's, yeah. Anyways, so anything else? Any random thoughts you have on the film?
Let's see. Do you think it's weird that the security guards noticed there was a completely different person in the cell?
Do I think it was weird? Yeah, a little weird. But I think that is a transition between the real and the fantastical world of Fred.
Oh, you think it's just part of his fantasy?
Yeah. And in fact, I think the whole jail is part of Fred's fantasy.
Yeah, it looks like David Lynch is trying to mislead us here, in certain aspects of the movie.
And you mean like what's actually going on?
What's actually happening, what's real, what's not real.
Well, yeah, that's a huge theme throughout the film. As my friend verdict, I really enjoyed the film. It's not for everyone, but if you're a kid with a bit of a surreal film that has not much of a plot, then I would highly recommend it. Solid film. What's your thoughts?
Well, aside from being eerie and surreal, they do a good job at incorporating romance and drama into the movie.
How'd you find the romance section? I found it more of a thriller. How'd you find it? How'd you find the romance? What aspects are you talking about?
It's like, well, for example, Pete and Alice, they try to stay together forever. They want to get away from the gangster guy, so he doesn't find out.
Yeah.
And then there's Fred and his wife and the guy named Andy. Fred is worried that Andy is having an affair with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
We all know he's very insecure about his marriage.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go to drama. So Fred goes on a murderous rampage after finding out his wife has been cheating on him with all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Pale Man comes into play when he encourages Fred to kill these men and do all these horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
The Mystery Man just tells it how it is. He tells Fred what's going on with his wife and what he should do.
How does he do that? Like, he doesn't.
I'm just saying, in general, he encourages Fred to kill the men who his wife cheated on with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
And another dramatic moment is when Sheila finds out about Pete having sex with Alice.
All right. Anything else to say?
For the conclusion of the video, I think the overall message of the movie is a man who's lost in his mind. He is so stressed that he has to drive away from his struggles.
All right. thank you. Thank you all for watching, whoever is, and I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you, TJ.